What's poppin'? It's your boy Janto here, and today the long-awaited wait is over. Now, originally I was just going to do a top 5 of all the animes I watched this season, but I decided, hey, why not rank them all, tell them my thoughts, see how I liked all these animes. Some of them, maybe you haven't heard of them. Some of them, maybe you have heard of them but want to watch, or hey, maybe you watched all the anime I did watch this season, and I don't think I watched that much anime because I don't know, like for some reason it's just really hard to complete anime this year. Now I don't know, maybe I just don't feel like binging because then I just feel lazy and I actually want to put work in and that kind of stuff. I don't know, it's that kind of feeling. So I will be ranking all of them. So if an anime is not here, that means I did not watch them. So don't be going down the comment sections and being like, oh my god, why isn't this anime ranked? It was so good. I'm sorry. I don't have all that time in the world. But I will try to, watch some of the anime I did want to watch from this season. Although a new season is already starting and I need to keep up with all those animes. So the only anime I haven't finished from this season is Horimiya. I finished first 5 episodes. I'm enjoying it so far. It's wholesome anime. It's like Karakai Jozo no Takagi-san kind of. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. But I'm not gonna put on the rankings because I don't know if anything big that will change my opinion will happen yet. But I might make a video on my thoughts about it. But that is the only exception to this list. Everything else I have pretty much completed in full. So yeah, let's get right into it. Starting off with the worst anime of the season. Don't think I need to tell you guys that, but let's get right to it. Yeah, not a surprise. X-Arm, worst anime this season. I can't even call it one of those animes that are like so bad that it's good because the voice acting is, actually good. And it's what you get when you have, Saito, Soma, Akari, and all these other great saves. You got Rieri in there. I never thought this day would come where an anime with Rieri voiced in it would be the worst anime of the season. But I mean, it's just that bad, and quite frankly, I feel most sorry for the mangaka because, imagine finally getting a manga that you've worked so hard on for, how many months or years, finally an anime adaptation, and, it looks like that. It's really tough. Yeah, I don't need to explain this, I mean, just the animation alone. I think we've clowned a lot of shows for bad animation, like 7 Deadly Sins Season 3, but I mean, this takes the cake. It really does. I have no idea what Crunchyroll was thinking when they, made this possible. I really don't, but yeah, no need to explain. X-Arm, worst anime this, I don't know, all time. Honestly, it's in that conversation. But yeah, moving on. Next up, another huge, well, X-Arm was a disappointment. It was just kind of a meme, but biggest disappointment of the season. One of the biggest disappointments of all time. Let's just be honest here. Promised Neverland Season 2. I honestly consider the first season to be a masterpiece. It's really, when I first watched it, that first episode with, well, if you haven't watched it, I won't spoil it, but man, it just immediately sucked you in, and, this mystery sort of thriller adventure that they had going on with the manor, and, eventually, going on to this season. I was so hyped to watch this season, and it is just such a huge disappointment what they did with the anime. Basically, they veered off from the manga, and it's like an anime only story now, and it's just, I think Charlie, I don't know, he said my thoughts like exactly. It's just really disappointing, especially with the writing. If you gotta veer from the manga, you have to, write all this new material yourself, or at least go off to another part of the manga. But then, you have to write off all these plot holes that are gonna appear because you skip so much of the manga, and you immediately just jump forward to this next section, and it just feels rushed. Writing makes no sense. Bunch of plot holes. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but this character comes up, and all of a sudden he has this like all to like solve everything, all their problems. It's such a mess. It's such a disappointment. You know, I really thought Promised Neverland was, you know, going to be up there with like those top animes like that you see on like, I don't know, like the top 10 of Mali, like something like that. One of the big names up there, you know. But I mean, this season, you know, it's gonna be its legacy, and you know, it's really sad to hear about it. You know, after this, I highly doubt that they're gonna do another one. You know, if they do, I don't know how they're gonna salvage it. And I think the worst part of it is they had a recap episode after episode 5. Like, episode 5? First of all, no one's gonna watch the anime if they haven't watched the first season, because they recap pretty much everything up to that point. And why would you need to recap 5 episodes? You know, it's just lazy. You know, the studio, they really messed up. Really big disappointment. Anyways, moving on. Next up, 2.43 Saiyan Volleyball Club. This one hurts. It's just really disappointing. This one was really disappointing. I saw the trailer for it, and you know, I saw it had Ono Kensho. You know, it had Inoue Junki. Don't know if that's how you say his name. Basically, Itadori from Jujutsu Kaisen. And it just dropped the ball for me personally. I don't know. Others may enjoy it. You know, maybe I should love Haikyuu too much, which is ironic because I hate when people just immediately compare the show to Haikyuu because it has volleyball. But it is just really disappointing. First of all, it's just boring. I don't care about any of the characters. I could make a whole video about this. I'm just gonna make, you know, some of the general complaints I have. Characters aren't interesting. Worst one, this show is way too fast paced. You know, I'm gonna somewhat spoil the structure here. You know, it's I don't know, it's somewhat predictable anyway, so I don't think it's anything big. But first two, from episode 1 to like episode 2 or 3, the 2 MCs are in middle school. Then in episode 3 or 4, they enter high school. By episode 9, they're already in the regional finals, and ends at episode 11. The last episode is literally just like an aftermath. Like, it is just way too fast paced for a volleyball. And I'll say this: I don't like this show being compared to Haikyuu, but you know, it's clear to understand why, because Haikyuu, you know, it just does it right. And if there's anything this show should have at least, you know, copied from Haikyuu, it's the pacing. Instead, they go the exact opposite, and it's just, you know, I hate it the most because it really, you know, I'd watch like the first episodes and I'd be like, this show has so much potential. You know, I really felt it did, but you know, it was just really disappointing in the end. You know, it kind of feels like a waste of time, which I hate saying because although Kensho is one of my favorite series, but yeah, I could make a whole video on this show, which I don't know, maybe I probably will in the future. But yeah, really disappointing. The third worst anime I've watched this season. Yeah, man, it's not even the most disappointing part of this show. The most disappointing part is that they had like the best opening in the entire season. I'm not even gonna lie, dude. Mahi by Yuma is an absolute slapper. I play that. I could play that every day and never get tired of it. It's such a good song. And when I heard it on the first episode, I was so pumped. I was like, I'm ready to get in this anime. You know, I'm about to play volleyball myself, and you know, just dropped the ball. You know, I couldn't even be excited. You know, I still bopped to the OP while I was watching the show. Gotta be completely honest. I feel like the opening was the only reason I kept watching the show. But I mean, yeah, that even the ending is heat. You know, it's not the best ending. That definitely goes to Jujutsu Kaisen. But dude, that ending was heat too. It's so sad. So sad. I can't talk about. I'm moving on. I can't talk about. It's so disappointing. My heart can't take it. Redo of Healer. This is not a joke, by the way. I literally found Redo of Healer more entertaining than 2.43 Saiyan Volleyball Club. That says a lot about how disappointing that show was to me. But yeah, Redo of Healer, I don't know, it's like high budget hentai basically. I mean, it was kind of funny. Some moments, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if that's messed up to say, but I mean, some of the moments were kind of funny. Like, like when he slapped her with his sausage. I I was not expecting that at all. That was, you know, yeah. Actually, I laughed a lot. I'm not even gonna lie. It wasn't even a chuckle. I was bursting out laughing when I saw that. But I mean, yeah, you know, bunch of messed up stuff. Don't like any of that, by the way. I am a wholly wholesome vanilla man, by the way. You know, only like that vanilla stuff, the wholesome stuff, if you feel me. But you know, other than that, you know, everything else is like average. Actually, also, I have so much respect for the voice actors. You know, they're not like hentai voice actors. Like a lot of voice actors in hentai, like they literally only do hentai. Like they're professionals at that stuff. But no, they're the voice actors in this. You know, they're certified voice actors. You know, they voice in a bunch of other stuff that's not like this. So, mad respect to them, especially the MC, Hoya Yosumi. I think that's his name. Mad respect to them. But I mean, yeah, their performances were great. Honestly, I honestly really loved their performances. That was probably the most entertaining part of the show. But other than that, yeah, it's kind of just an excuse to put a bunch of messed up stuff, call it an anime. But you know, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, and you know, a lot of entertaining scenes. Yeah, but you know, this is as far as I could put that show, honestly, if I was actually like judging as an actual show. But you know, it's entertaining at least. You know, I'll give it that. Next up, the Seven Deadly Sins, Nanatsu no Taizai. Uh, I mean, animation. I know that's the biggest question people are gonna have about this season. Is the animation is better than season 3? It is better than season 3, but it's still not good. If you know what I'm saying, it's like mediocre at best. Really sad. I mean, I feel like there's just so many great moments, especially since you know this is like the climax of like an ancient war. You got like demons and angels and gods fighting each other and stuff, and you know the animation just looks kind of whack, and it's kind of sad. You know, even the voice actors at some points even feel that into it. I'm not gonna lie. But other than that, you know, I really do like the story of Nanatsu no Taizai. You know, that I don't think that's ever gonna change. You know, the story's always gonna be there. I think there were great character moments. You know, especially with King and Meliodas, and especially Ban as well. You know, if those moments just had better, really good animation, it would have just been, it would have been like those classic like shonen scenes, you know, that people always rewatch on YouTube. But unfortunately, you know, the movie, you know, just killed all the budget they had for this show. Really disappointing, you know. Yeah, honestly, some of the voice acting was, you know, and animation really held the show back, honestly. I mean, a lot of the big reveals, you know, I didn't really feel anything from them because the animation was like subpar, especially like that Meliodas reveal towards the end. That was really disappointing. I think the most disappointing part is that I found art on like YouTube thumbnails that already look better after watching that episode. So that's kind of sad. But I mean, yeah, I still, you know, enjoy the story. You know, I've been watching it since the beginning, and I know after season 2, quality just dropped. But you know, that's fine. I really enjoy the story though, so you know, I'll put it up here. It's mid tier for me, which is really sad because I really did enjoy the first 2 seasons of the Seven Deadly Sins. A kid from the last dungeon boonies goes to the starting town. Now, I'm not gonna lie. When this show first started, this was one of my top anime for sure. This show was so fun to watch, you know. It was just so funny. Loved the comedic timing, you know, loved writing the first few episodes. But after the first arc, it really just dropped the ball, you know, it became really generic. And, you know, I think the most obvious reason for that is that this show relies way too much on its gags, you know. The characters really do not progress at all. The OP literally gave away all the plot twists, so I kind of, that always sucks when the OP animations give away the plot twist. But yeah, I really just wasn't feeling it as much. Definitely wasn't feeling it as much towards the end. And also, the worst part is the MC is just a total idiot. He's like, it's the generic. This isn't an isekai. It's like a fantasy, but he basically goes from this legendary town full of heroes, and he was born there, so he's automatically like ultra powerful to like this starting town full of weaklings, and one of those like OPMC. But he's just such a massive idiot, and it really doesn't feel like he grows at all. Every fight he has like that generic, oh, I need to be stronger for my friends type thing, but he really doesn't get anything out of it, at all, because does he really need to grow stronger? He's just so dumb that he hasn't figured it out yet. That's literally the only conflict he has, and it really bogged down the show for me. But I'll be honest, at the beginning it was really fun, so those first episodes really stuck with me. Those were so fun to watch, honestly. But yeah, it really just dropped the ball towards the end, but it's fine. I still really enjoyed it, so yeah, I'm placing it right here. Now we head into the good stuff, the nitty gritty, the top of the top. We're heading into the top 5, and these shows I really don't have that much complaints on. I love all these 5 shows so much, it's insane. I mean, yeah, it's kind of funny considering I've kind of had a lot of complaints for all the shows I've reviewed so far. But even some of them coming towards the top 5, I really did enjoy them, no matter what complaints I had about them. Kind of just going on a little rant about them, sharing my thoughts. But now, this is where I put in all my effort. The top 5, why I love these shows so much. I'm so excited to tell you about them. But anyways, without further ado, here is number 5, my number 5 anime of the season. Oh my god, I just tried to grind. I'm so sorry. I haven't done like a year. Oh, do something funny. Do something funny for the YouTube, you said, Janto. Oh, Jujutsu Kaisen, baby. Why? Because you gotta put a shonen in your top 5. You don't put a shonen, you're gonna be crucified. No, but seriously though, I really do love this anime. I think Jujutsu Kaisen is really, peak shonen, not on the level of like Hunter x Hunter, obviously, but it's really up there. I really think this has potential to be one of the greats. I love, pretty much everything about it. Animation by Mappa is superb, really. I mean, with them working on this and AOT, it's really a shock how good this animation is. It really is, Like I said, an animation can make or break a show, like with 7 Deadly Sins. I think that was pretty obvious, but the animation is just so good here. You just have to praise it. I think the storyline's serviceable. It's nothing too crazy. You get it from the get-go. You understand. There's still a lot of plot points to be, focused on in the future. So I am really excited about that. I think the characters are fun and endearing. I think Itadori he's a good shonen protagonist. I really think he has a lot more development to grow, and just be a really great protagonist. Because right now, I just kind of see him, he's goofy, he's kind of dumb, as all shonen protagonists are. But I definitely think that he could be a great shonen protagonist, and also really love the supporting cast around him. The first years, the second years, really fun to watch all of them. Gojo Sensei, just such a great character. I don't know, man. He's overtaken that Levi spot, if you know what I'm talking about. All the ladies going crazy for him right now. But definitely, such a fun character, and even with him being like overpowered, basically, for some reason he just doesn't ruin the show for me, even though those types of characters, if they aren't the like MC and aren't like used for comedic purposes, usually, just completely throw off the show for me. He just does it for some reason, and I think it's because he has like an important role to play in the plot that that's actually gonna have like a lot of attention to it, and I'm really excited to see that because this show's definitely getting a season 2. But yeah, I really enjoyed Jutsu. Pretty much everything about the fight's spectacular. 530,000 IQ, man. Best character. Let's just be honest. I want him my best of friend though. My best of friend. I'm not good. Sorry, I'm not gonna try to do that. But yeah, really enjoyed Jutsu. A lot of people tend to overhype shonen. Especially here in the West, since that's pretty much the most popular genre of anime. But don't sleep on Jujutsu. Definitely worth the hype. Definitely worth a lot of the praise. So yeah, go ahead and check it out. Dr. Stone Wars. Who doesn't love fun educational stuff? If only schools could realize that if education was fun, they'd have a lot more productive members of society and not us garbage hikikomori. No, but seriously though, I really do love Dr. Stone Wars, and I'm gonna be completely honest when I say this. I don't think it was nearly as good as the first season of Dr. Stone. You just don't have those moments, like the light bulb, or the CD playing in this season. There are those moments, but I don't think they compare to like those just incredible moments of Dr. Stone. Episodes and episodes of just getting materials and all this building up, and you finally get it, and when you realize it's there, it's like, wow, it's really there. But I still really enjoyed this season. There were a lot of great moments. My two favorite definitely being when Nikki heard the song from her favorite artist. Because let's just be honest, what do we do without music? If I didn't have music, I'd be really bored half the time. I wouldn't even know what to do. Would I even have emotions? Who knows? But hearing that, I definitely think a lot of people could relate to that feeling of hearing their favorite artist, especially with Nikki, who thought that she couldn't even listen to music anymore. She thought it was impossible. And of course, Chrome bringing out of prison just shows his development and how far he's come with science, to the point where he literally knows much more than the average person. He definitely knows more than me, despite being around all of this technology. I mean, I'm using technology right now, but it's just the development of these characters. There's so many lovable characters. I'm really glad they delved more into Sakasa's backstory, even though I think there's more. But that moment between him and Senku at the end was, it was a tearjerker. I really enjoyed that. Like I said, it wasn't as good as the first season of Dr. Stone, but I really enjoyed it. I really just love Dr. Stone. Definitely one of my favorite animes, and definitely check out Dr. Stone if you haven't already. If you thought science sucked, if you thought it was terrible, you hated learning it, like I did, because I hated my science classes, especially biology. Yeah, then check this out. It's a really fun watch, definitely. Listen to that OP. I listened to that opening and I'm like, man, I'm ready to adventure the world with my best friends. And quite frankly, that is exactly the vibe I got off of Mushoku Tensei. This show is special. This show is incredible. This is the first show that the Studio Egg Firm has ever produced. But quite frankly, if they keep busting out bangers like this, they might as well just be put up there with, the greats, the top studios right now, like Mappa. Because this show is just incredible, and there's so many great things about it. I could talk about this all day. Now, I don't know if this will become my favorite isekai of all time. Even though considering there's already two isekais in my top 4 favorite shows, animes ever, but this show, there's just so much great things about it. I mean, from the animation to the direction to the writing and pacing, it's clear that they know what they're doing with this show. I mean, not only do they have one of the best openings and endings this season from Yuiko Ohara, who I absolutely love because she did the openings from Karakai Jozo no Takagi-san. But I mean, everything about this show just feels so grand. You feel like the writers just know exactly what they want to do. I mean, and there's just so much great things about it. The best thing definitely is Rudy as a character. He's not one of those generic, overpowered isekai MCs. He has traits of him being obviously smarter and stronger than others because he's born as a child, but he's already 44 in real life terms, and he already has all this knowledge from video games and visual novels. But quite frankly, that also creates a lot of flaws for him because you could see that in certain situations, he still looks at this world somewhat as if it was a game. He tries too hard to apply that knowledge unto himself, and because he has this expectation of himself already, he gets into worse and worse trouble sometimes because of it. And he's not perfect. He has a lot. He has a lot of flaws. Despite the advantages he already has, it's clear that there are people in this world that are still stronger and smarter than him. We don't know if Rudy will ever get to the point of being the smartest or strongest person in this isekai world. And one of the best parts about the writing is just how much great things they do with it and decisions they do. There's some things, and this show has made me so curious that I even read the light novel up to volume 6 already. That's how curious this show got me. One of the things they do, this will be a light spoiler for those who haven't read the light novel. Nothing too crazy, but I'm sort of hinting at something that's gonna happen in the future. But their decision to put Paul's message of him searching for family after what happened with the Mana incident, over this powerful opening and great scenery, which is what they do every episode, except this time they have Paul's message, and just showing clips of Rudy traveling and going up and seeing this great city completely just completely showing that he has no regard for this message whatsoever, or at least it gives off that vibe. It's somewhat subtle, but it's just so good. It just feels genius, these decisions by the writing staff. And I am really excited for the next season. And I think, reading past the light novel, I think that I've read to the point where the second season will probably end, or at least the second course. And with some of the moments there, if they pull it off, it's gonna go down. There's a reason this is called the grandfather of isekai, because even though there's tropes, watching other isekais it just feels like it's stealing off the show, even though they've already been released. And I am just so excited for the second course. Definitely, second best isekai of this season, wink wink, or shadowing. But I just love this show. I don't want to jinx anything after what happened with The Promised Neverland season 2, but this could go down as one of the all-time greats for sure. So if you haven't already, even if you don't do isekai, even if you don't watch anime, just for some reason on this video, watch this show. It is really special. I'm ready to go to war. I'm ready to go to war right now. That's exactly what I thought when I heard the opening Boku no Sensu, My War, for the first time. Attack on Titan, Season 4, the final season. It has lived up to all the hype, all the expectations. I mean, there's a reason AOT is one of, if not the, actually, yeah, one of, if not the biggest anime series out there in the world. You got major news outlets doing reports on this, and it's for a reason. This show is spectacular. There's a reason it's ranked number 2. And, one of the biggest concerns that I had with the anime, because I don't read the manga, I don't want to, have those experiences taken away from me. I want to experience it firsthand with animation and voice acting. That's my personal preference. But my biggest question was, you have all the cards on the table. I think one of the best parts about the first seasons of Attack on Titan, season, all the way before season 4, honestly, was the mystery about it. You're here, you have the perspective of Eren, but he's behind these walls, and outside those walls are these man-eating beasts called Titans. Why are they there? What's their purpose? How are the walls constructed? All of these mysteries that you had in the first 3 seasons, and all the answers are there now. All the cards laid on the table. Isayama said, this is what we got. This is the world situation. This is why Paradise is like that. All those questions are answered. So what do you do now that all the cards on the table? And Mappa, Isayama, they did not disappoint. I mean, first they start off with a G-dang World War I battle. You got Zeke. You got Zeke just straight up bombing raid with Titans on a fort, and it is just so epic. And then after that, disposition. Slowly disposition, building up the characters. You introduce them in the most hype way possible. They're literally in the middle of the war. They're getting dragged across no man's land. Like World War I. Like seriously, it's World War I out there, and you introduce them in the best, most epic way possible. But now you're slowly building them up. Realize, we don't know much about these characters. We just know that they went through a war. And then boom, Marley happens, and it's just, it was just such an epic battle, and then what happens after that? Slowly building up, and then boom, season, cliffhanger happens. We have to wait another year. I mean, it's just masterful how they did it. I am just, I was just shaking just watching these episodes. And, apologies, if I somewhat spoiled it, but let's just be honest. It's kind of unbelievable to say that you haven't watched the show already, because you should. Despite how popular and how, overrated people say it is, how overhyped people say it is not, completely, just completely met all these expectations for me personally. And, it is just such a great anime. And, the animation itself, I think, is really good. I think Mappa, they only had 8 months to produce this, which, the average for a 12-course anime is literally a year. So 4 months short of, what studios usually get, and they somehow pulled it off. I know a lot of people complain about the CG. I don't think it's that bad, especially the CG Wit used in the first 3 seasons. Mappa's is much better compared to it. Trust me. It's probably nostalgia, thinking, that CG was probably good, but I think Mappa hit it out of the park with this. They did an amazing job. This show, deserves all the hype it got, because it is just incredible. The number 1, my most favorite anime of the winter season, drumroll please. It's this is the fat I brought us in, what's smiling on the show. I mean, it's one of my 4 favorite animes of all time. Of course, it's gonna be number 1. It was pretty much decided from the start, even with AOT there and Mushoku Tensei, just completely coming in and, taking the season by storm, It's just, it's probably always gonna be number one if it's there for me. Now, if there was a season of ReZero, Karakai Josen no Takagi-san, on a Konosuba like season 3 and the new Haikyuu season, I wouldn't know which one I would like the most. But they're not there. ReZero's here. It's number one. And I just love ReZero so much. Especially there's such a big difference between the first course and this course that premiered this season. And I'm not talking about like animation or voice acting or anything like that. Those were all superb. White Fox dishing out 30-minute episodes. The OP, the opening, which let me just say was absolutely incredible. That opening was amazing, by the way. Only in like 2 episodes. So hey, gotta give them those listens. They definitely deserve it, especially after not being in the anime. But how could they, with White Fox releasing literal 30-minute episodes of this anime? Imagine if you had to watch it with ads. I would not be able to with how long the shows were, with 30-minute long episodes. I mean, ReZero, they just hit it out of the park. I love the first season, the first course of this season so much, but I love this course even more, and more so because, with this course, usually with ReZero, it's like, there's more questions you get than answers. It's been like that since the first season. It was like that with the first course, but here, it feels like a lot of those questions aren't answered. Obviously not all of them. There's still so much that we don't know about Lagunica, about the whole world really. But in terms of characters, their backstories, their arcs, their development, a lot of that was answered, and it was just so satisfying seeing all of that. Without a doubt, my favorite protagonist of all time would have to be Subaru. Because not only is he relatable, like us, like me, like imagine if I was teleported to the ReZero world. Like it probably wouldn't end well for me. But Subaru's development over all these seasons, after these 2 seasons, has just been incredible. My favorite part of his development is how they began this season. With the first season, he was able to do all these things because Rem was by his side. She was able to support him, and he gained strength because of it. If it wasn't for Rem, let's be honest, Subaru would have quit a long time ago. He would have just left. He would have done something else. But this season, all of that strength he gained, let's take it away by taking away Rem. And all of a sudden, Subaru just feels alone again. And it's not like he doesn't have people around him, because, he has Amelia, and, he has the people from the mansion. But that strength that Rem was able to give him, because she believed in him, because she loved him, is pretty much gone. And you pretty much have, instead Amelia, and I love Rieri, obviously. I love Amelia, best waifu. But at that time, she relied on Subaru more than anything. She depended on him because of what he did in season 1. And you have this dilemma he has to face now. And just, all the way throughout the season, all the brutal deaths where he was alone, or, the people around him just went crazy or died, just like how crazy it was in season 1. And this course, minor spoiler, but, he doesn't die at all, And that's huge, because it shows how much Subaru was able to develop. And I think the greatest thing is that it came from Otto, I don't think anyone would have expected that. And it was simple. He just told them, you have friends, you don't need to keep us in the dark. And that's probably the biggest thing Subaru was dealing with, because, this power of returning by death, it was so special that, Subaru thought, if I just keep going at it and keep dying, keep learning, that I could probably do it all on my own, Season 1, Rem's love was literally so strong that she was able to do it with him. But, now he's learned that, he has people here, and, he could do it with them, if they do it together, and, through all, and the best thing is through Return by Death, you see all these different sides of the characters in season 1. A lot of the people who become really likable, you see their whole story in course 2, by course 1 and course 2, they become much more likable because you see different sides to them, because Subaru was able to take a different path that leads those characters on the right one, with like Garfield, Otto, Beatrice, Rosewall, it is just such a good show, and it is such a masterpiece to me. I really, I really don't, there's nothing this season that could have topped this show. And the best thing for me was Amelia's development, because I love Riri. Seeing her character develop, you just gotta love it. You just gotta love it. But that never would have been possible without Subaru developing as well. And like I said, leading these characters down the right path, and they're able to go down together. And it is just such, it was just such a gratifying feeling seeing that and seeing Amelia go stronger. And the best part about this is that despite how epic this season seems, with its fights, 30 long minute episodes, animations, there's still so much more that we haven't uncovered in Lagunica and across the world. Season ended, and I honestly completely forgot about the grand election during this, because they were just stuck in Sanctuary with Subaru trying to solve this huge mystery of how he's going to save everyone. And there's now everything with the characters inside Sanctuary and their development. It pretty much feels like complete. And now that we have these stronger, better written characters, more developed characters, all these epic plot lines with like the archbishops, the grand elections, they can now face them, and I feel like it'll just be that much better now because of these characters. And I am so excited. I want season 3 right now. I want season 3 right now. Okay, I could wait a little bit. Let's give those White Fox animators a short break. They earned it for sure. Oh man, I cannot even imagine the amount of hours of work they put in to release these 30-minute episodes. But I mean, I am just so excited. I really hope we don't have to wait another 4 years. I don't know, hopefully I'll be able to see you by then. Ooh, maybe I can get a role in ReZero. Actually, never mind, I can wait 4 years. I can wait 4 years, but man, I just love this show so much. There's a reason it's one of my top 4 all-time favorites. And this season, this course, without a doubt, probably my favorite course. Yeah, honestly. Maybe it's because I haven't watched the first season since, the first time I watched it, which was like a year back, I think. But man, it is just such an epic anime. So yeah, that is my number 1 anime, ReZero Season 2, Course 2. Best anime of the season. Like, if you don't do isekais, like I said with Mushoku Tensei, you don't even do anime, just watch it. Because, it's not even like those stereotypical animes you think about. It is just so much more. And I love it so much. Definitely check it out. Definitely the best anime of the season. All I gotta say about that. Those were all the anime of the winter season that I watched. My mask is starting to fall apart. I need to get a haircut, by the way, if you haven't noticed already. But yeah, those were all the animes I watched in winter 2021 season. I know I did not watch a lot. There are a lot of anime that I actually want to watch from this season that seem really good. Especially Wonder Egg Priority, Reincarnated as a Slime. Still need to finish Horimiya. World Trigger, I should probably get on that whole series as a whole. Log Horizon, those seemed really great anime. Heard a lot of praise for those. Those 5 I definitely need to watch. But yeah, share me your thoughts. Did you agree or disagree? Was X Arm your number 1 instead of your last? If you heard that 10-second line from Rieri, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, did you think AOT was better than ReZero? Probably, did you think Mushoku Tensei was a better isekai than ReZero? Who knows? But those are my winter rankings. Definitely excited for the fall season. Already started Boku no Hero Academia, and Combatants will be dispatched. Really excited for those shows. Definitely gotta start off new shows as well. Hopefully I have the time, because man, it just feels like there is no time to watch anime anymore. I kind of wish I was just back in middle school and I had all the time in the world. But yeah, that's all my rankings. This has been Jan, so as always, I will see you guys next time. So, peace out, and bless upon Riri. Hey guys, post-edit Janto here. Just finished Miyamuta, took a couple days. And let me just say, I am really glad I did not put it up on the list, as I only watched the first 5 episodes at a time. Like I said, I really enjoyed the latter half. I honestly thought the latter half was much better than the first half. I heard some people saying that it fell off after the first few episodes. I really don't see that. I just thought it got better and better up until the last episode, which I really enjoyed. I really love the development of the characters. Like I said, especially in the latter half, they didn't just focus on Miyamura and Horimiya. They focused on all of their friends, and like somehow that development, it brought all of them together, and it tied it up with Miyamura's thoughts at the end, and I thought that was really beautiful. Without a doubt, my favorite episode would be episode 10. That episode I thought was just really great. Everything from the writing to the development, the characters to even the animation. I honestly really loved the animation of the show. I think Cloverworks did an incredible job with it, even though, I heard they skipped a lot of the manga, which is kind of sad to hear because I honestly want more episodes of this. I really love the cast of the characters in this. They're really likable, and most importantly, they're really relatable. Like I said, I really love the writing in the show, mostly just because, they're high schoolers, and, they're not going through, super, over dramatic stuff that just doesn't seem realistic. So, you can't quite just relate to the characters. I mean, they're just going through stuff that honestly every high schooler has to face. Stuff that I've faced. I was watching the show, I was like, man, this is really relatable because I could honestly see myself or some of my friends, going through this stuff. I don't know, even some of my friends going through even worse stuff than in this show. Like I said, it's not even completely dramatic and unrealistic. It's really simple and relatable, and I really enjoyed that because it made the characters that much more likable. Just seeing them go through these things and growing as a person, because they're high schoolers, and they're finding themselves, they're finding their identities, going through relationships, just like every other high schooler like in the world pretty much. And I really enjoyed that element of the show. Definitely the best part. So the characters, I really love them. I really think they're a likable cast. I love the friendship they have with each other. I love the relationships, and how complicated it could get in terms of high school level, and them just being able to find themselves because of that. And I thought it was a really great show. I really loved it. I love the animation. I love the music as well. So yeah, if I had to rank this, I'd probably put it in between Dr. Stone and Mushoku Tensei. So I'd say it's my fourth favorite anime that I saw this season, which is high praise because of how many great animes there were this season. So yes, unfortunately, Jujutsu Kaisen is out of my top 5 of the season, but I still really enjoyed it. So yeah, my top 5 is now officially Dr. Stone, Stone Wars, Horimiya, Mushoku Tensei, Attack on Titan, and then of course ReZero. So that is the post-edit update list. But like I said, if you haven't already seen it, watch Horimiya. I really enjoyed it, even for a slice of life, even though, kind of a sucker for that wholesome love story stuff, you know what I'm saying? I'm actually a huge sucker for it. But yeah, there it is. This is post-edit Janto. Hope you guys enjoyed the list. I will see you guys next time. So as always, peace out, and bless upon Rieri.